There's a reason why some people remain unshaken no matter what life throws at them. The world hurls chaos their way, people insult them, plans fall apart, setbacks come one after another, yet they stay calm, as if untouched by the storm. What do they know that others don't? Most people go through life in a constant state of reaction. Someone cuts them off in traffic, instant anger. A coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment, their entire mood shifts. A stranger gives them a strange look, suddenly, self-doubt creeps in. But what if you could be free from all of it? What if no person, no situation, no external force had the power to disturb your peace ever again? Jung once said that most people are prisoners of their own reactions. They believe the world is acting upon them when, in truth, they are simply reflecting what they have yet to master within themselves. Here's the truth: nothing can affect you unless it finds something inside you to cling to. If someone calls you stupid and you get angry, it's because a part of you fears it might be true. If someone ignores you and you feel hurt, it's because a part of you still seeks validation from others. That's why two people can experience the exact same event yet respond in completely different ways. It's never really about what happens, it's about what's happening inside of you. This is what many refer to as shadow work, the process of bringing the unconscious into the light, of realizing that every annoyance, every frustration, every emotional trigger is actually a message from within. Most people run from these signals. They try to suppress them, ignore them, or blame the outside world for making them feel this way. But those who truly awaken come to a powerful realization: the external world is simply a mirror of your internal state. And the moment you grasp this, you tap into something extraordinary, the ability to shape your reality by mastering yourself. But here's the catch: most people don't want to hear that. They'd rather believe their pain is caused by their boss, their ex, their circumstances, or just plain bad luck. It feels easier to accept that life is unfair than to accept that they may be the ones giving their power away. Yet, for those brave enough to look inward, to stop blaming and start observing, a new kind of freedom becomes available. And the best part? When you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. You no longer need to avoid negative people. You don't need to manipulate your environment. You simply become immune, not disconnected, but unshakable, not emotionless, but completely untouchable. The illusion of control versus the freedom of letting go. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control things they were never meant to. They want to be liked. They want life to be predictable. They want everything to go their way. And when it doesn't, they suffer. They get angry when someone disrespects them. They feel betrayed when life doesn't follow the script. They take everything personally, as if the universe itself has conspired against them. But here's the truth: nothing in this world is truly under your control, except for one thing: your perception. Jung grasped something that many never do: the external world is neutral. It isn't good or bad, kind or cruel, it simply is. What makes it seem otherwise is the lens through which you view it. Think about it: two people experience the exact same situation: a breakup, a financial loss, a failure. One spirals into despair, believing everything is falling apart. The other sees a lesson, a chance to evolve, a doorway to something better. The difference? Perception. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." What Jung meant is simple yet profound. As long as you're unaware of the unconscious stories you're telling yourself about people, success, love, your worth, you'll keep reacting blindly. You'll believe life is just happening to you, never realizing that much of it is happening through you. And here's where it gets truly interesting. The more you try to control the external world, the more power you give it over your internal state. The moment you need someone to respect you, they gain control over you. The moment you need a situation to unfold a certain way, it begins to own you. The moment you require life to be fair, you're already setting yourself up for disappointment. But the instant you release that illusion of control, everything changes. You become free, free from needing validation, free from fearing failure, free from the constant tension of trying to force life into your ideal image. Really think about it. The people who are truly untouchable in this life aren't those who control everything around them, they're the ones who have mastered themselves. They stay still in chaos, steady in uncertainty, unbothered by opinions, and unafraid of what's next. They've learned a secret most people never do. Control is an illusion, and the real power lies in surrender. The moment you stop chasing it, you become truly powerful. And here's the paradox. When you no longer need things to go your way, they often do. When you stop fearing what others think, confidence rises naturally. When you stop pursuing success from a place of lack, opportunities begin to flow to you with ease. When you stop resisting life and start moving with it, everything starts falling into place almost effortlessly. This isn't just philosophy, it's backed by neuroscience. Cognitive psychology studies have shown that the more we try to force control, whether it's over people, outcomes, or even our own thoughts, the more resistance we create. That's why people who are desperate for love often push it away, why fear of failure leads to self-sabotage, and why those who cling to control usually feel the most powerless. So ask yourself, are you living in reaction or in action? Are you the master of your perception? Because once you truly understand that nothing outside of you holds power over your inner state, life begins to feel like a completely different game. The untouchable mind, how to be unshaken by anything. Picture this, you're walking down the street, just minding your own business, when someone suddenly hurls an insult at you. Maybe they call you foolish, weak, they say you'll never amount to anything. Now, pause for a moment. What actually happens inside you at that exact second? Most people instantly become defensive or feel wounded. Their emotions hijack them before they even realize what's happening. Heart racing, anger flaring, the mind replays the insult like a broken record, feeding the fire of frustration. But now, imagine a completely different reaction. Nothing. No spike of emotion, no tension, just a quiet inner awareness that says, that has nothing to do with me. This is the essence of what the Stoics taught, what Zen masters lived, what Carl Jung deeply understood. Nothing external can disturb your peace unless you allow it to. But let's take it even deeper. Why do most people get affected? It's because they're unconsciously identified with a false self, a fragile identity built on opinions, validation, and attachment to how things should be. So when someone challenges that identity, it feels like a personal attack. It's not just an insult, it's a threat to the story they tell themselves about who they are. Jung called this the shadow self, the hidden part of our psyche where we bury our fears, insecurities, and unresolved pain. And when someone triggers us, they're not causing that pain, they're revealing it. They're showing us a wound that's already there. Think about it. If you were truly at peace with yourself, someone's insult wouldn't matter. It wouldn't land. It wouldn't stick. It would pass right through you like wind through an open window. It would be like shouting at a mountain. It simply echoes back, untouched, unmoved. So the real question becomes, why are you reacting? If someone calls you a failure, does it sting because deep down you fear it might be true? If someone disrespects you, does anger rise because you're still chasing recognition? If life doesn't go according to plan, do you spiral because you're clinging to a specific outcome? The issue isn't the world, it's the way you see yourself. The true power doesn't come from silencing critics, avoiding discomfort, or eliminating every problem. It comes from cultivating an unshakable mind, a mind that doesn't need outside approval, a mind that doesn't collapse under pressure, a mind that fully understands this simple truth. All control begins and ends with perception. And this isn't just a philosophical ideal, it's grounded in psychology. Research shows that emotional reactivity is a learned habit. The brain creates and strengthens neural pathways based on repeated responses. The more you let the world dictate your emotions, the more automatic that response becomes. But here's the best part, you can retrain your brain. Neuroscientists have proven that with mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and intentional exposure to discomfort, you can literally rewire your emotional patterns over time. Insults stop wounding you. Failures lose their power to define you. Uncertainty no longer terrifies you. At that point, you stop living at the mercy of the world and start living in mastery of yourself. At that point, you become untouchable, not because the world has changed, but because you have. The mirror of reality. There's something curious about human nature. We believe we're reacting to the world around us, but in truth, we're always reacting to ourselves. Picture this, someone insults you. Their words land like a dagger. But pause for a moment. where do you actually feel the pain? It's not in the words themselves. It's in the meaning you gave them. It's in the old wounds they touch, the stories buried deep in your subconscious, the parts of you that haven't fully healed. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." And that's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Nothing, absolutely nothing, outside of you holds power unless you hand it over. Think of it like a mirror. If your reflection suddenly frowned at you, you wouldn't yell at the mirror. You'd realize you're the one frowning. Yet, when life mirrors our inner world, when people trigger us, when situations stir up emotion, we react as if the mirror is the problem. We point fingers. We demand others change. All while missing the most profound realization: the outer world is simply reflecting what's already within. The real question is, why do we give so much power to things outside of us? The answer is simple: attachment. When your sense of self is tied to external things, opinions, validation, outcomes, you will always be a prisoner to them, at the mercy of what others think, at the mercy of what happens, at the mercy of what goes wrong. But what if you stopped playing that game? What if, instead of reacting, you became the one who simply observes? Detachment isn't about becoming cold or numb, it's about becoming unshakable. It's realizing that you are not your emotions, you are the awareness behind them. Think of a storm: thunder crashes, wind screams, lightning tears across the sky. But above it all, untouched and serene, is the sky itself. You are not the storm. You are the sky. And that's the truth. The greatest power is not in controlling the world, it's in mastering how you see it. Because the moment you stop reacting, you start reclaiming your reality. People feel it. They can't trigger you. They can't pull you into their chaos. They can't hijack your peace, because now you own your energy. So the question becomes, how do you step into this state of untouchable presence? It starts with a radical shift in awareness, the understanding that you've never actually been reacting to the world. You've only ever been reacting to your mind's interpretation of it. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same situation and walk away feeling completely different. Someone bumps into them on the street. One person shrugs and keeps moving. The other holds on to it for hours, stewing in anger and frustration. The event was the same. The reaction entirely different. Why? Because the reaction was never about the event, it was about the mind's interpretation of it. Carl Jung often spoke of the shadow self, the unconscious parts of our psyche we push away, the hidden wounds, the buried emotions, the fears we pretend don't exist. And yet, these are the very forces that end up running our lives. Why do certain words hit a nerve? Why do certain people seem to trigger us so easily? Because they're touching parts of us we haven't fully owned yet. If someone can easily manipulate your emotions, it's not because they're powerful, it's because they're pressing on something within you that remains unresolved. The key to becoming unshakable isn't in suppressing emotion, it's in facing it. It's in observing your triggers, not running from them. It's in shifting the question from "why did they do that to me?" to "what inside me is reacting right now?" Picture a chessboard. Most people go through life as pieces on that board, reacting to every move, trapped in the game. But mastery? Mastery is becoming the player, the one who sees the board, plans the moves, stays composed. And higher still, be the observer, the one watching the whole game from above, seeing every pattern before it unfolds. That's what emotional detachment really is. Not numbness, awareness. Not suppression, sovereignty. You're not avoiding emotions, you're understanding them so deeply that they lose control over you. You stop being a prisoner of your reactions, and you become the master of your mind. And here's the wild part: once you stop reacting, the world starts responding to you. People notice the shift. You're no longer chasing validation. Suddenly, others seek yours. You no longer feed into negativity. It loses its grip on you. You stop being a puppet of the world and become the one pulling the strings. The secret lies in real-time self-awareness. In every moment, you face a simple choice: react mindlessly or observe consciously. The next time someone tries to trigger you, pause. Catch that split second before the reaction takes over. Feel the emotion rise, but instead of being consumed by it, witness it. Like a scientist studying an experiment, curious, calm, detached. That moment of stillness? That's where your power lives. So how do you train this awareness until it becomes second nature? That's what we're diving into next, because the moment you stop letting the world pull your strings is the moment you take your power back. Master your reactions, and you master your reality. If this message hit home, drop a comment below. What was your biggest takeaway? And if you're ready to keep expanding your mind, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because what's coming next might just change the way you see everything. See you in the next one.